Hey sports fans, I'd come live to you today, walking the boardwalk in Noosa. Kimmy and I just got off our morning hike to Hell's Gate. About 4.5 miles round trip. Hello, Melissa. How are you this morning? Hello, Michael Ray Chavez. Hey, I thought I would just do a refresher this morning on therapeutic listening. One of my favorite subjects. It's the title of a book forthcoming. Therapeutic Listening, The Art of Being Present. And what does that mean? Well, it just means listening to people at a level that heals them, as opposed to alienates them. So for those of you that have studied a little bit of this with me, you know that what happens with most of us in conversations is, oh, speaking of conversations. Hi. You want to be famous? What's your name? No, they don't want to be famous. She was cute for a minute. So when two of us are talking, you know, one of us is supposed to be listening and one of us is supposed to be talking. But what really happens is both of us are talking, right? I'm talking to you and you're talking to you. I'm talking to you out loud. These guys are interviewing. And you're talking to you silently. So I may be telling you a story, or I may be giving you an opinion on something, or I may be answering a question that you asked me, and I'm talking away. And you're supposed to be listening. And what are you doing? You're talking to you. You're talking to you while I'm talking to you, right? And so what's valuable to get on top of this for ourselves is to pay attention to what are the various forms of talking to us that are habitual for us. Like I've told you before, if you're talking to me, the filter I'm going to be listening through, my style of listening, if you will, the conversation I'm going to be having with me is get to the point. That's my default habitual listening. You start telling a story, you start telling me your opinion. I start saying to myself, oh gee, look at the time. I start analyzing how many words you use to say something where you could use 1/10 of the words. I start analyzing all your hyperbole and all the drama and all the adjectives, and I'm like Dragnet. I just want the facts, ma'am. Remember Sergeant Friday and Dragnet? He would go interview the witnesses, and the witnesses would go on and on and on and on and on and on, and all this drama and all this talk, and Sergeant Friday would just say, just the facts, ma'am. And that's my default listening. So if you're talking to me, of course I don't say that out loud like Sergeant Friday. I'm not rude. But saying it to myself is just as profound as saying it to you while you're talking. While you're talking, what I'm saying is, oh gee, look at the time. Oh gee, I wonder who's on Facebook I can look at. Oh gee, I wonder if I have any emails. Oh gee, I gotta get back to work. Oh gee, is this gonna take long? You know, and the other area that I would focus on is not how much time it's gonna take, but how much drama is going to be involved in just delivering the facts. Because all I really want is the facts. I don't want all your opinions and all the drama and all the hyperbole, and I just want the facts. So what if every time you talk to me, I just kept interrupting you and said, oh gee, look at the time. Is this going to take long? Is this a long story? Is it going to take you a long time to make this opinion? Or, hey, could you just stick to the facts and drop the adjectives? and all your opinions and all your drama around it? Could you just drop all that, strip all that away, and just, you know, tell me what you need to tell me in 7 words or less? So, what kind of relationship would I build with people if I said that out loud? Right? So because I know that's my default listening, what I can do is listen for it. Like I can listen to me, listen to you. I can pay attention to, when am I in hurry-up mode? When am I not present? When am I getting you to get to the facts, cut to the chase, instead of just being present to you? You know, so that's one way people listen. Another way people listen is right or wrong, right? So you're telling me a story, and how I'm listening to you is, well, do I agree with you or do I disagree with you? And of course, if I agree with you, what I tend to do is stop listening, because if I agree with you, then you're telling me stuff I already know. And what do I need to keep listening to you for? But if I don't agree with you, you're telling me stuff I don't agree with, well, I'm going to dismiss you as well, because why am I going to listen to stuff I don't agree with, right? So imagine that you're talking to somebody, and every time you say something, they tell you whether or not they agree with it. Yeah, I agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. Imagine what kind of relationship you would build. So, you know, some people listen through agree, disagree. Some people listen to hurry up and get to the point. Some people listen to finish other people's sentences, right? So maybe that's some of you. Like somebody starts a story, and what you like to do is finish their sentence. Like you like to guess. So like, you know, I'm down here on Hastings Street, and just came off the beach, sitting here on Hastings. There's all kinds of these shops and restaurants up and down this cool street. And so I might say to Kimmy, when she comes up, because I'm going to meet her for breakfast, I might say to Kimmy, you know, I just went into the, and she would jump in and she would name the name of the shop that I went into. And I'd say, no, it wasn't that shop. And then so she would guess the next shop. Nope, wasn't that shop. And so I might say to you, you know, hey, I just saw on the street, and you might jump in and you might say, oh, Betty from the ice cream parlor. No, it wasn't Betty, it was. So is that you? Is that how you listen to your spouse? Is that how you listen to your friends? Is that how you listen to other people? Is whatever they're saying? You like to jump to the conclusion and guess what they're going to say and head them off at the pass, right? You like to be smarter than the person you're talking to. So another form of listening is, you know, whatever people are telling you, you just can't wait for them to take a breath, any kind of breath, like even just a tiny little breath. And what do you do but dive in and tell a better story? You know, a bigger speeding ticket, a bigger fish, a better audience, a bigger catastrophe, whatever, right? So whatever story people are telling us, we just can't wait to one-up them. So the question is, what is your form of listening? What's your default listening? And what are you going to do about it? And here's the motive, folks. Here's what I found is like powerful motive. If you can just get clear that just because you're not saying it out loud doesn't mean people don't feel it, because they do feel it. When two people come together, I can just promise you this about human nature. When two people come together, what both people are looking for is validation. Both people are looking to be heard, to be understood, to be loved, to be accepted, to be known. They want their stories known. They want their opinions known. They want the great things that's ever happened to them to be known, and they want the challenging things that's ever happened to them to be known. They want their childhood to be known. They want their possessions to be known. They want everything to be known. And so when two people come together, if that's the agenda for both people, if they both have an addiction to being known, then whoever gets known, right? So that's why I love so much the story of the most interesting person that you've ever met. I won't tell that again here because most of you have heard it from me 100 times. But why do you end up being the most interesting person somebody's met if you're just curious and you listen and you ask questions, and you're curious and you listen and you ask questions? Why do you end up being the most interesting person they've ever met? Because they get heard, they get sourced, they get validated, they get accepted, They get to matter to somebody in this moment, in this 1 minute moment, in this 5 minute moment. They get to matter. So, you know, if you're a salesperson or you're a recruiter in any kind of business, the secret weapon is make people matter. Make people matter way more than what you're selling. Make people matter more than you, more than your opportunity, more than your product. Make them matter. Make their stories matter. Make the moment that you're with them matter by being present, which looks like being curious, asking questions, just curiosity questions, and when they're answering the questions, just be with them, like meditation. Just don't try to take notes, don't try to remember everything they said, just be with them. And just notice when your mind wanders. Your mind wanders to home, to the kids, to the work you have to do, to what they're saying, analyzing what they're saying, whatever. Just notice what your mind wanders to, and that's your listening. And what you want to do to be present to people is just like meditation. Just bring yourself back to be present. What does present look like? It looks like nothing. It just looks like being right in front of people and being a vessel in which they can put all of their stories and all of their opinions and all of them. They want to put them into your vessel. Just be an empty, loving vessel and let them come in and sit down and spread their arms out and take a big breath and be with you. And you'll be the most interesting person they've ever met. And they will matter to you, and then you will matter to them. And then if you're selling something, if you got a business, if you got a service, if you got an opportunity, guess what? At some point, they're going to be open to hearing it. So there you are today from downtown Noosa Heads in Noosa, Australia on Hastings Street. Do you like that hat? I got Kimmy's hat on today. All right, headed for breakfast. Tonight we're headed to Brisbane. So if any of you are in Brisbane, we'll be at the Brisbane Outlet Mall by the airport this evening and tonight, taking Haley to catch her flight back to Colorado. Hey, Craig. How you doing with my boat? All right, gang. Have a fantastic evening. Over and out.